The #1 source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back on the air. NHRA Nitro, super excited. Another world champion interview. This one with Dallas Glenn. 00 Dallas gets it done, defeats Greg Anderson in a head-to-head matchup that lasted an entire season. We're going to speak with Dallas on this show. It's going to be great. You're going to learn everything you ever wanted to learn about the 2025 Pro Stock season in the Mission Foods Series. Now, I know a lot of people are signing on right now because of the big news, Alexis DeJoria to John Force Racing. How about that? It just dropped. Thank you very much to the news gods for allowing it to come out prior to the start of WFO Radio. Normally, they wait till like right after we get off the air. Big stuff right there. Alexis now heading over to John Force Racing, and they are insistent of a 4-car team, which means the Cornwell car. Who's going to drive it? That is just so exciting to think about. Everybody is on the edge thinking about all that, where the proc's going to go, all kinds of great stuff to talk about. Before we get to Dallas, I want to shout out to a couple of people that make it possible for me to go WFO Radio, like Redline Synthetic Oil. We'll tell you about them a little bit later. HusseyPerformance.net, our great friends, of course, at Total Seal Piston Rings and GESI Converters and everybody who does such a great job. I will be going to PRI, and I am going to be swinging by the booths of these fine folks. If you want to meet me there, if you want to come with me, just reach out. Joe at WFOradio.com, or you can get me on the social, all of those things. And we're going to have a good time at PRI, and I think that's where we're going to find out who's going to drive the Cornwell car. All right, I see Dallas Glenn. He is queued up and ready to go. Before we bring on Dallas, we're going to bring you back to a moment, a pure and genuine moment at the In-N-Out Burger Finals at Pomona. It had just ended. We all had this energy flowing through our veins. We wanted to work. We wanted to race. It didn't happen. Mon Nature said no. And so I saw Dallas and Sadie together walking back off the starting line. They were clearly having a very personal moment that I invaded for this interview. Please enjoy. We do WFO something real quick?
Yeah, we sure can.
Yeah, let's do it. Look, there's Sadie in the background. There's Sadie. You want to come over here, Sadie? Come be a part of this. Let's get this in the background. So I'm rolling on all of this. This is WFO. Sadie. Hi. Dallas.
WFO.
All right. WFO. So this is it, guys. You're a world champ, Dallas. How do you feel?
Come on, man. It's a very strange way to get the world championship. I don't know if this is like the first time ever they've actually completely canceled a race before, but Mother Nature definitely showed everyone who's boss.
She really did. This was unprecedented rain. All the SoCal people are telling me like it had never happened like this before. Sadie, are the nerves gone?
Yeah, I actually slept last night, which is a miracle. I didn't anticipate that happening at all. And I don't know, when I got like this inkling that it might happen, I just felt so much better. But I was just so worried about going up first round and like knocking the tires off and having like, you know, pedal fest and stuff, and my heart can't handle that.
50 cent part, whatever it is.
Yeah. So, you know, the horror stories of that. So, I feel great.
All right, Dallas, young Dallas, dreaming of drag racing and all that stuff, like Pro Stock World Champion. Was that a dream? One of the dreams? Like, I wanted to be Pro Stock World Champion.
Oh, it's definitely one of those dreams, and I still don't think it's hit me yet. So I don't think I've fully taken in what's actually happening at the moment, but you know, it's one of the things about not being able to get out of the car and hold up that trophy is some of the adrenaline's gone, but still a great feeling nonetheless.
Okay, did Greg and you have any kind of talk, like mentor, mentee, old, young, like any kind of, conversation about this thing that is happening or was about to happen?
Oh no, he wanted to continue racing, and I don't blame him one bit. We all wanted to race. Greg, when I was able to sneak past him there at Vegas, that's I think kind of sealed it for him, that there's a good chance that I'm going to be able to steal it from him.
Wow, to the last, I grapple with I love it. That's the Greg Anderson rep. But now you are the champ. Have you thought about what that means next year? In the 75th season of NHRA, the guy that's going to be going out and doing all the world champion stuff, representing the sport, representing 75 years of the sport, representing pro stock, our class that we love so much, is you. Are you ready for that?
I better be. I think so. It, like I was saying earlier, I don't think it's quite hit me yet. I'm definitely going to have a long drive home to think about it, but no, I think I'm definitely ready. I love this sport. I've basically dedicated my life to it. I've been doing this, 13, 14 years now already. So, no, I'm ready.
I'm excited for you guys. World champions, guys. You did it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There they go. The Glens.
Woo.
Picture time.
Picture time.
There they go.
That sounds like the frog guys are having fun down there.
They are. And there they go. They walk off into the distance. What a moment. Let's find out if it has sunk in. Joining us now in living color, Mr. Dallas Glenn. What's up, champ? Congratulations.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me on here.
All right. So let's go back to that moment. You looked like you were processing it. It's been a little while. How does it feel?
It still feels pretty good. I can't imagine it would ever not feel good. But I did have a long drive to think about it. Thought about all kinds of some cool little things. Like we were talking about earlier, how past world champions kind of have that lifetime gold card entry national events. So in 30 years, if I want to go run stock eliminator or something like that, I can just go and enter in, and I don't have to worry about grade points. So that's one of those cool little perks that I guess I never thought about until now. But no, it definitely it feels really, really good. I'm hoping it's one of those situations where that first one's always the hard one, and the rest of them kind of come a lot easier. And I can kind of relax, take the pressure off, and go up there and have fun.
I think it's fun that, number one, you had to drive home, right? In an era where some people are rejecting the abject wealth and lifestyles of the, Formula One drivers, of the IndyCar drivers, of the NASCAR drivers. They're flying, they're on a plane 10 minutes later, and they're, jet setting around. You drove the championship rig home. You drove it home, across the country, 3,000 miles, a lot of time to think about that kind of stuff. And you're thinking about getting in free for the rest of your life.
Well, it won't necessarily be free, but guaranteed entry is a good
Oh
thing.
yeah, that's right. And it's not free gold card. You just can get in. You still got to pay. Good point. So everyone is out there wishing you congratulations.
Yeah, no.
Olds, they're all wishing you congratulations. I'm sure it has been wild just going through this experience.
Yeah, no, it definitely has. Definitely see, you get a lot of people that have been congratulating me. A lot of people have been calling me and putting messages up. Definitely looking forward to next year. When they get to announce me for driver intro, I get to hear them in the, reigning champ kind of while I'm walking on stage is definitely going to be something that I think is going to put a smile on my face every time I walk up there.
Yeah. Well, your new first name, right? You're no longer 00 Dallas. You're world champion Dallas. And I think it's exciting. You had Richard Freeman say he's rooting for you. You had Erica Enders say they're rooting for you. And because you've beaten up on them and they've beaten up on you. And it's a different world now. You've done it. Before, you're a guy who could do it if things went right. And now you've done it. It's just a dramatic change. Yeah,
that's where I'm hoping the pressure comes off, and the rest of them can kind of fall off from there. It's always been that first one's always the hardest, as I said earlier. The first one, you can do it, but you've never done it, so there's all new experiences and all new feelings and pressures. And once you've actually achieved it, then you've done it, you've experienced it, what it's about. And all that pressure and weight of can I actually do this goes away because you've done it, and then you can just stay relaxed and you don't have the pressure, and you can just go out there and do your job.
Dallas Glenn, world champion, Doug Coletta, world champion, right? And he's proof positive of that. The second one came very close to the first. He hasn't finished outside of the top 2 since he broke through. And the guy looks different, right? He looks like, like a weight is off. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm a champ. I've done it. And you just drive better. Walt Walker out there saying, great job, driver. Wesley out there, one of us truckers, great job for the truckers. You're representing a lot of the fine folks out there. But let's go to the beginning, Dallas. The kid kicking it outside the KB ropes. I guess that was in Seattle years ago. Try to connect with that guy for a minute.
Oh, that was more than just Seattle. That was any national I went to, because I was running stock eliminator at that time, and any national I went to, I'm sure everybody in the pro stock pits, when they saw me coming up, were rolling their eyes going, oh, here comes this kid again. I was all over, and I was talking to whoever would listen. But no, they, one of them gave me a chance, and I ended up here at KB Racing, and the rest is history. It's been a long road. I've learned an incredible amount. There's some really talented, smart people here.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. All right, let's talk about the season in general. The way it started was the way I look at things, and I'm not always right, but the way I look at things is this season started where last season ended. The crushing defeat to Greg Anderson, rising up once again, the old man winning one more for the old guys, showing the young kids that it doesn't come easy, that it's going to be hard. And all year long, you battled him. And there were times where you both had the fastest cars. This was really a 2-horse race, in my opinion, all year long. You guys were the clear 2 best, fastest. You battled. You wanted that regular season championship the first time they paid for that. And you and Greg, mano a mano all year long. And you showed him down. You beat him. Take us through some of the highlights of that. And you had to dig deep because he didn't make it easy.
No, he definitely did not make it easy, and I didn't expect him to make it easy. I think the regular season championship showdown there at Indy definitely showed what the countdown was coming. So with how tough Greg is, I knew I was going to have to step my game up in the countdown, and thankfully I had some luck on my side there, and Greg made a couple mistakes during the countdown to kind of allow me to slip past and get a little bit of an edge. But some of the season highlights I like to think back is that was the first year that we've had 3 4-wide races in one year, and I was able to sweep all 3 of them. I don't know if I've 5 or 6 4-wide wins now, so even though they're very strange and they're very difficult to handle, I seem to have some pretty good luck during them. But like the first 4-wide at Charlotte, getting to beat Greg Anderson on the hole shot in the final, and then get handed the trophy by Rick Hendrick at the top end's definitely one of those moments. And then also the Dallas race, I had Dan Provost with Rad Torque Systems was there, and you get to hold up the Wally there and ride back in that pretty crazy car with the giant horns on the front of it back to the starting line, and we get to get our own cowboy hats there in Dallas. It's a really hard race to win. And just trying to stay focused week after week after week and not losing in a single first round the entire year is definitely something I'm real proud of. I in 13 finals and 17 races, and I think 15 of them I was at least in the semis. So I only lost in the second round twice due to one of them was a mistake on my part, and the other one Greg just wanted to make the countdown chase a little more interesting than I was wanting.
Wow. Well, here in the stats, the 3 4-wides, and that may never happen again. The way the schedule has now changed, we're going to Rockingham instead of Charlotte. We don't have an April 4-wide in Vegas, and so a bit of a schedule anomaly right there. Not losing first round. I don't want to put my opinion on everybody, but like to me, if I can get out of the first round, I feel pretty good. I mean, it's not winning the race or anything, but it's not a total failure. You've had some success at an event, and to have avoided that for an entire season, that's amazing.
Yeah, and that first run of the day is kind of always, it's a new day, it's a fresh day, everything's, it's to get that first one out of the way. It feels like you kind of get the ball rolling, and then you can just kind of build on it from there. Um, there's definitely lots of benefit to going to the semis. So usually during the regular season, to go to those too fast, too tasty races, that's my main goal during the regular season. Is at minimum, I need to be making it to the semis every race, and then from there you just go focus on winning. Um, that's kind of the mentality I going into Sunday. Is we need to do everything we can to get into the semis, to get into that too fast, too tasty race, to get the bonus money, to get the bonus championship points, to get not only that, but then it's guaranteed you're going to be in the back of the field for the first run Saturday morning, which could be the difference sometimes between qualifying and not. If you struggled on Friday, now all of a sudden you're in the back of the field on Saturday. You don't have to be up front. If the air is good, you can get in because of that. So there's just lots of benefits to performing for every week.
I can't imagine the sport without that program anymore. Like, imagine if we went back to just standard qualifying on Saturdays, where we had 2 sessions, and who knows, maybe someday Mission Foods or whoever the title sponsor is will say we don't have the budget for that. And I just can't imagine it, because it's added so much to our sport, that element of racing on Saturday. And if you get to the semifinals, you get something. So that's an added extra bonus. You just mentioned it. Like, such a good program. I just want to emphasize that.
Yeah, no, I'm really thankful they came in and stepped up and got that program going. That was one of those new ones that I'd actually never thought of an idea of like that, of, hey, let's throw a little kind of mini gamblers race with the previous year's semis during the Saturday qualifying. It was like, oh, it gives a whole other day of racing basically, and it adds a whole nother layer for fans. It's one thing about qualifying is you don't see any of the pedal fests or any of the really tight matches where there's money on the line on Saturday. So it definitely brings in quite a bit of extra excitement, and when you've got championship points on the line, it definitely could be the difference.
It could be the difference. And that's what the money is nice, of course, but those points, it always comes down to a narrow points deficit in this final race. Keith says all the other KB Titan teammates are going to be out to get you in 2026. What have your other teammates said? I know you got a tight knit, positive bunch over there, but still got to be cool to walk in there with that trophy we see over your shoulder.
Yeah, no, they're all super supportive, and they're all, giving their congratulations, but I know they all want to kick my butt just like they did in the last year. So they're all going to be getting better, and they're all going to be coming for me, and they're all going to be taking shots every time we race. So that's going to be nothing new. I just need to make sure I keep my belts tight and do the job that I know how to do.
Malcolm Phillips out there, young racer looking for his opportunity to showcase his talent, kind of like you got. Mike from PA says, congratulations to Dallas and Sadie. All right. So Sadie makes, I think, her first WFO appearance in that interview. I don't know. She feels every ounce of pain, very obviously, the joy, an avatar for you on the starting line. Like, we just look at Sadie, like, how's she going to handle this? Oh my gosh, she's dying out there. What was it like for the two of you to settle in after that interview and realize, like, all right, we've got this?
Oh no, it was definitely really good. We got to go and get all of our pictures taken, and we had lots and lots of people come up, wanted pictures, and we had to do it inside the tent because it started raining on us again there in Pomona. So we got all of our pictures done. We went and had a nice dinner, and then drove to the Temecula where the banquet was. Pachanga. Is it Pachanga or Pachanga? Pachanga. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah,
and Tamara sent me these wonderful photographs of you guys in the talks and everything, and I'm working on getting them over. They're taking a long time to transfer for whatever reason, but I think I'll get one before you're done. But Pachanga, as I understand it.
Yeah, no, I really, we really like having the banquet there. It's a great place, and you get to go do a little gambling. They got great golf courses, great food. And usually the traffic isn't too bad on the way down there too, which is always nice. But
Yes.
it was definitely a good experience. I'm definitely, I always stressed out a little bit about trying to prepare for the speech that you got to give.
Any
But
memorable moments?
I don't remember any memorable moments. I think everybody else might remember a moment or two, but I think I kind of blacked out for half of it, so I don't remember half of it. So,
Okay.
but
I requested the video from a couple of players. Listen, everybody knows you can see it. Go to Sadie's
mhm,
social. Here's what happened, Dallas. You were about to mention a co-sponsor of both of ours, right? GESI Converters,
mhm.
the Latino family, big supporters of WFO Radio. I appreciate them greatly. They do such a great job. As with you and your team, GESI Converters, they've got multiple brands. They've got the DPF X-Fit, which is for over-the-road truckers, particulate filters, OE replacements. But then they have this performance brand. I'm about to get some put on my LS2 Cadillac called the G-Sport. G-Sport. And you were thanking them. And what happened, Dallas, is you did not say G-Sport. You said
I did not say G-Sport.
you said something else.
Oh, I did not. Complete accident. A lot of people were asking me if I meant to do that. No, that was 100% accident. Um, but I did go and apologize to the Latino family, and they were very nice. They said, no, that was actually, we've had so many people come up and ask us about it. So if anything, it was a lot of good publicity for them.
100%. Are you kidding? Like you can't buy that stuff. But I agree. We got to be suspicious. Are you that savvy that you figured out how to get attention to that? But you mentioned blacking out. Okay, so I get paid to speak and I try my best, and every once in a while it doesn't work out. And you hear it from everybody. The time that I was on the stage in Epping, New Hampshire, and I called the Boston Bruins the Boston Brewers. And I had 20,000 people begin to violently boo me angrily. It was tough. And I felt for you in the G-Spot moment, because it was very similar, except there was a lot of love. Like everybody loved it. The camera went to Sadie, and we wouldn't let the moment pass.
No, I have a feeling that moment's it's going to be there for a long time. I'm not going to live that one down anytime soon. But having that experience of going up and doing the speech like that, I think was definitely good. I feel 10 times more confident now that if I'm lucky enough to, win another championship, that I'll be a lot more calm and relaxed and fluid with it. I feel a lot more confident if I have to do that again now that I've experienced it once.
Just like everything, they okay, I can do this. And the pressure of getting every person that ever helped you along the way, the guy that lent you something for your stalker, that you made a raise and that helped you with your career, I can understand that. But there are a couple who have really helped you out. Let's talk about Dan from Rad Torque Systems. I hung out with Dan a little bit at the races. Seems like a very nice gentleman. He's built a great business. He's successful. He helps a lot of racers. There was a time that you did not have a sponsor, and as good as you might be and what a nice kid you are, doesn't mean that KB is going to fund your pro stock ride. You needed a marketing partner, and he stepped in and stepped up and helped get you out there on the racetrack. Got to be very gratifying to deliver for a guy like that, and to know that he really helps you make this possible.
Absolutely. I definitely wouldn't be driving without the people at Rad Torque Systems. They were definitely the ones that, really got it pushed forward. Without them, I wouldn't have, just to even got into the car to begin with, let alone continue. So, anytime they're at the track, I try to dig a little bit deeper and do a little bit better, and definitely try to make sure I can give them a win, and to come so close last year and still be, what I consider is you get so close and then you're so far away almost instantly. You work the whole year to get to that point where all you have to do is get one more win light, and then Greg Anderson comes up and just sneaks away by 2 thousandths. And it wasn't even from any mistakes that I did. He just did his job a little bit better than me, and I feel very good about how I did that year. But then you got to start all over again. You got to start back from square one. And the first race of the year, that first qualifying session, everybody has the same number of points, 0. So you're starting back from square one, and then to come back and try to stay focused. And he supported me through all the political climate that everybody's dealing with. With everything with Canada, because he's a Canadian company. So to stick with me through all that, I think really says how amazing of a company and how amazing of a person he is. He's super supportive of all things drag racing. He races himself, and I really thankful for everything he's done for me.
I think it's great. He deserves the attention. He had a tough golf cart incident, and I talked to him in Seattle. I had no idea. I didn't fully understand how serious it was. So he's actually lucky to be around and able to enjoy this. And I want to make sure he gets a lot of spotlight too, because it's easy to really hype the other person who kind of supported you this year, which is Rick Hendrick. Like he's a media icon. Rick Hendrick Motorsports, amazing. You mentioned the trophy that you got at the 4 wide. He was there hanging out on the starting line, stayed till the end. Great stuff. But now you've got some great supporters with Rick Hendrick as well.
Yeah, it was definitely really thankful that Rick came on and decided to put his brand on my car as well. I've always been thankful of all the support he gives Greg. And I'm technically driving the HendrickCars.com trailer around the country, because I drive the rig that is technically wrapped in Greg's car. So, with all the support he gives us and all the technical support, from whenever they have questions engineering wise, they can go ask his engineers, and there's a lot of support given back and forth. So, without them, it's definitely important to the success of KB Racing as well. So, a big name like Rick Hendrick, it's legendary. So to have Rick Hendrick calling me on my personal phone and telling me congratulations is something that I find very, very special.
That is wild. And what was that like? The phone ringing after it was all over. You mentioned in the interview we played at the start, you did miss out a little bit on the coming around the corner and the hubbub of Amanda coming over and the trophy and the cameras and everybody in your face. I don't think it'll matter a couple of years from now at all. We had no other choice, and that's something that people need to understand, the fans out there. There was no other choice. And I think you told me even at the banquet, maybe it was Tuesday morning, it was still raining. No, it was Cody Anderson. So still raining at the track's still underwater. So there was no other choice. But of the people who called you and contacted you, reached out, said congratulations, who was the most surprising or intriguing?
I don't know if there's any one specific person that I find that surprised me. I mean, when I first came back to my phone after it was announced, after all the pictures and everything, I think I had like some 80 some text messages and like 20 missed calls. So it was just the overwhelming support from everybody that I got, I think, was the most surprising to me. It was just, constant. Everybody's been coming up and calling and congratulating me, and to get that kind of support, I'm just out here doing the thing that I love to do, and it's pretty special to be able to, I guess, kind of take all those people, along with the ride, with me. So, there's just so many people supporting me, and I'm really thankful for everyone who is rooting for me back home, and all the fans who want to see me win.
I love it. Now I finally got the photo up. Thank goodness. Look at you two. Tremendous. The all black worked out very well.
Yeah, actually I was just decided I wanted to do all black this year. And then I looked at pictures from last year. I was actually wearing the same thing. I was wearing all black last year as well. So it actually looked really good for that video that Sadie made, where last year when I did we were doing the Mission Impossible thing, because I was going to steal Greg's trophy from him. And then this year we cut to this year being able to take it up to the room.
Look at that. No continuity error or anything. You just like straight through, all black. The man in black, Dallas Glenn, right? Okay, so here we go. 2026. NHRA 75, the 75th season. I don't know how much media you're going to be doing. I hope it's as much as they can get you out there because you're a great spokesperson for the sport. But that's a once-in-a-lifetime milestone, the 75th season of the National Hot Rod Association. Special Wally's standing on a diamond or something. You know, I've heard rumors of it. Give me, when are you going to test? What are you guys doing? What's the preamble? No Pro Superstar shootout this year, as I understand it. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. So what's your testing schedule, and when does 25 end and 26 begin?
Oh, I'm sure 26 has already started here in the engine shop. You know, they don't waste any time, start taking stuff apart and looking at ways to improve things. We've already started, disassembling all the cars. We're trying to get all of our trailers clean. So it's literally a never ending job around here. There's always something to do. There's always work to be done, always things to improve and clean and make better. As far as testing schedule, I don't think we have anything on the schedule yet. We're just making sure that just kind of running down some research and development things before we were going to decide to go to the track. So I don't think we'll be at the track anytime here in 25. Maybe sometime early 26 would be my best estimate. Although I'm not the one that really makes those decisions. So I'll leave that up to the engine guys and the crew chiefs. And if they tell me to drive, if they tell me to work, whatever it needs, I'll be there and ready.
You're not ready to throw your weight around just yet. Like, do you know who I am? I'm world champion Dallas Glenn.
No, in here I'm just Dallas. When you got a guy walking around with 6 world championships, it's a little different. And these guys, they work hard. They know how to win. They always just keep their head down and keep going forward. So, we might be champion for a moment, but if we don't do our job during this off season, we're going to be at the bottom end of the spectrum at the start of the next season. So we definitely have to keep our nose to the grindstone.
Wesley with a good question. Quick questions for Dallas, and then we're going to let him go. He's devoted a lot of time to us already. But with the Keith Haney, KB Titan thing, you're going to have pro mods all over the place. Greg Anderson said at SEMA that his biggest fear is that he'll like it. What about you? Are you a test driver for pro mod? Are you going to do any of that?
There's been some talks back and forth about it. I don't know yet. I know that they're going to be racing, Haney's down there right now, actually doing some testing, getting ready for the winter series that's coming up this weekend. So, I don't know exactly what the future of this off season entails, but we've talked about it a little bit, and I don't know. Pro mod would definitely be something that would be fun to experience. That first time's probably going to be pretty nerve wracking, but it's a fast race car, and I love driving fast race cars.
They earlier this year they formed that pro stock board. Greg and Richard, and there's a couple others on there. I think KD is on there. I think Hartford's on there. Someone else that I'm just not recalling. But Greg has told us that the goal of that group is to just make some changes in the off season to the cars, maybe make them a little quicker, things that everyone agrees with. I'm not asking you to tell us what those are, but do you have any idea, like, when we get to know as a public what those are?
As far as like changes for next year,
yeah.
I would
like the kicking around. I don't mind saying that there was a discussion of maybe a little more RPM or a little this or a little that with pro stock. Is that a PRI thing? Do you even know? Am I barking up the wrong tree?
No, I've heard some things being kicked around. I know in previous experiences of previous years, whenever there's any kind of rule changes, it usually comes either kind of right around PRI or usually more likely like the first of the year is kind of like they start, NHRA usually starts the new year with a rule amendment for the season. So that's kind of what I would guess would be if there's any rule changes coming. I don't know which one that they're all deciding on. I'm not in those meetings, and so I just drive the car and drive the truck. So
I like it. Would you like to see anything? Is there anything you'd endorse that, for instance, more RPM to make the cars a little quicker? Is that something you'd endorse?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, although I am the guy who builds all the rear gears for our team, so if we do get more RPM, then it just means I got some more ring and pinions to swap over to different gear ratios. Definitely that would be something to pick the cars up. There's lots of other things. They're talking about intake manifold changes that I've heard about being kicked around. So I don't really know what they're going to do, but it'll be interesting. And whatever they do decide, we're going to have to jump on it real quick and try to see if we can make the best of it as fast as possible.
I like it. I think Pro Stock, is deserving of so much more attention, and part of gaining attention is having something extra to talk about, whether it be more RPM or a couple more injectors or seeing those ETs come down a little bit over the period. I think it makes a big difference in telling the story. Speaking of stories, you mentioned Austin Prock in that interview with you and Sadie. What do you think about all this silly season hot stove that's going on out there with the Procs are leaving and Alexis is going to John Force Racing and just all of these amazing stories that are happening? What is your take as a drag racing fan?
Silly season jumped off quick and in a hurry. I was kind of shocked that with Austin Prock making the move. I mean, I'm sure it's something that he had probably been talking about and considering for quite some time, but I hadn't heard anything in the drag racing world. I mean, that's not exactly saying something. I kind of live under a rock in comparison to some of the people that are in the drag racing world. But it was pretty shocking. You get guy goes out and wins two back-to-back championships and then goes to a different team. So it's a little bit shocking, I think. But if whatever works out best for him is his deal. Alexis is a great driver. I'm sure she's going to be a fantastic addition to the Force team, as well as Josh Hart. Me and Josh Hart had a really good battle there for Rookie of the Year my first year. And yeah, he's a good guy. So it's excited for those two to jump onto a team like the Force team. So we'll see. I'm sure silly season is far from over.
Yeah, we got to find out where Austin's going. There's a lot of interesting stuff, hopefully in the Pro Stock world as well. I assume you're going to PRI.
Yes, I will be at PRI. Greg and I will be there Thursday and Friday.
Excellent. Well, swing by. I was normally I would reach out via email, but we'll just do this here. Please come by the Total Seal booth and do a world champion and engine builder interview, the two of you. It'll be fun to get you guys there, since I know you use Total Seal.
Absolutely. Matt Hartford, he makes a fantastic product. We'll definitely be swinging by.
Excellent. Dallas, congratulations. Behind the scenes, it was very lopsided because Greg had won 6 titles and you had to get over the hump. And hopefully you felt the admiration that you have from nearly everyone. I'd say it's universal. People love the way you carry yourself. Specifically, you're always willing to do the social bits. We go down to the top end. We do drive the stripe, whatever it is, you're into it. I appreciate that. Helping share that passion for drag racing that you have to get more people to understand it's not just loud cars going fast. There's a whole nother layer to it. You've done a great job and I appreciate it. Congratulations, champ. You've many more in your future.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me on here. And thank you for all that you do for the sport too. Without big places like WFO Radio, we wouldn't have a place to go and talk about all these behind the scenes stuff.
Thank you for that. No, I'm proud of it. I'm proud that we can get world champs on here and we can talk. I don't want to call it insider talk, but just it is what it is kind of talk here on WFO, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right, so we'll see you at PRI, but happy holidays to you and your family, and we'll see you on the other side, of course, as we get ready for the 75th season of NHRA.
All right, thank you, Joe.
There he goes. Say what's up to everybody for me, Dallas. Dallas Glenn, Pro Stock World Champion. How about that, Dallas? Yeah, the G-Sport thing. He handled it very well. All right, put your comments in the comment section, guys. Let's see what you have to say, as we are going to talk about some of the news of the day, the issues of the day, of course. But I'm not going to linger because I have something really interesting going on coming up at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's 1:39:59. on the East Coast. ePart Trade Industry Week. ePart Trade, it's an online trade show kind of thing. And Francisque and Judy, they invented this during the pandemic. And I have been one of the hosts over the past several years. And so we are going to do interviews just like that one, just except it's going to be with Richard Freeman, Tony Stewart, and Leah Pruitt. The three of them are going to be talking about Top Fuel and just all the different stuff going on over there in that camp. It's going to be very interesting. That's on ePart Trade. They're on the air right now. They're competing against me right now, but I will be joining them at 3:00. It's going to be great. And then right after that, we're going to go directly into a wide-ranging interview with Linda Vaughn, Miss Hurst. Think of all the stuff Linda has seen in her life, in her career that she has done. And it's real easy to speak with Linda because it's just like Linda stories and she just goes into it. So after this show is over, not before, please join us on ePart Trade Industry Week. Now, how do you find it, right? Like just search ePart Trade. And I think they are on racermagazine.com, I believe on YouTube. They're in a bunch of different areas, but I would love for my audience to join right at 3:00 Eastern time. So for Richard and for Tony and Leah, so that we get a pop. This is a worldwide stream that is happening. All right. Before we hit a quick break and come back with your comments about Alexis, are you shocked? Are you shocked? Are you stunned? I don't think so. I got some opinions. I'll give them to you in a moment. But I want to tell you about HusseyPerformance.net. Not just copper head gaskets anymore. I know we got a lot of racers out there, guys, racers. David Allen and the team, they're doing a great job on the copper side of things, but they have expanded into composite gaskets, whether it be valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, all of these things. They've got contingency programs as well. Top Alcohol Dragster, Top Alcohol Funny Car, Top Dragster, Top Sportsman on the NHRA side of the universe. And then on the PDRA side of the universe, like they do Top Sportsman and Top Dragster. Of course, we are at the end of the year, so we hope that all renews for 2026. Their best bet, all made in America, all sourced in America, and they have great customer service. It happens fast. What more could you want? You order some gaskets, they usually ship that day or the next day. So reach out to David Allen, 412-716. That's right, this is the number, 412-716-4872. Tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. It's HusseyPerformance.net. Also want to shout out to our great friends at Wright Trailers. I was working on my trailer the other day, like just polishing it up, thinking about 1 year ago at this time. 1 year ago at this time, I was making the trip to Wright Trailers to pick up my trailer. They surprised me with amazing upgrades, something that made Project Pontiac possible. And where I was 1 year ago, I was coming back from Gary Stinnett. We had dynoed Project Pontiac, the engine, made 850 horsepower. And now I was getting ready. We're getting ready to display the engine at PRI. This year, I feel so much more relaxed. There's a lot less going on. We'll be back with your comments on the big breaking news about Alexis DeJoria going to John Force Racing after
Looking
this.
to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF X-Fit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Elon. I don't know if they're even on tomorrow. They did a great show last week. Thanksgiving, VIPs, and just like people from the sport of drag racing all logging on to say what they were thankful for. And I highly recommend it. I know that not everyone has gotten in on Life's a Drag just yet. 12 noon Eastern on Wednesdays. I don't know if they're even doing a show tomorrow. I think they might be, but I'm not certain about it. I hope that they are. But go watch last week's show. What they did was something very fun and funny, which they introduced every single person as the next driver of the Cornwell Tools Chevy Camaro funny car for John Force Racing. Every single person, Courtney Enders was on there. She was introduced. Every person was introduced as the driver of the Cornwell Tools JFR Chevy Camaro, which I thought was funny. But wouldn't it be cool if like one of them actually was? Because then you could go back and pull the clip, right? We're just going to have to wait and see. Hey, I also want to shout out to Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Check out the that is the dragster adventure I'm always telling you guys about. That's what it is. You and your friends, or it could be a Christmas gift. It could be for your employees or your best clients, your sales team. You want to motivate them around the holidays. You're going to give them a bottle of scotch or something, and they're going to take it and they're going to re-gift it to someone else and say, yeah, the boss doesn't really care about me. He just got me this scotch. It's no big deal. It's just going to go on the shelf. You get them a great experience. The Dragster Adventure, frankhawley.com. Call him. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. This guy's really pitching it at the holidays, and you will love it. It will work out very, very well. All right, let's see what everybody's got to say about it. Happy for Alexis and wondering what is in store for Ida. Well, for every domino that falls, there is a question mark. Like, so Joe Maynard and JCM, what is in store for Ida? I don't know. JCM is Don Schumacher Racing, right? That was the Tony Schumacher team. If you follow that DNA, not that it matters, but if it was Formula One, we would be talking about this team, was Jordan back in the day. So what's going on with that? But Alexis goes to John Force. I think it's a great deal for Alexis DeJoria. She was with Coletta Motorsports, but I think that being at John Force Racing firms up John Force, that team. Now you've got Josh Hart with Bernie's. You've got Alexis. You've got the Peak car with Jack Beckman. And then you've got the Cornwell car sponsored with driver to be named later at some point. That's a formidable franchise. Everybody's funded. That's going to be wild. We've added a car. Like wherever the procs go, we add a car. Funny car just became more challenging. Let's see. Chris King. Oh, no. The comments are coming in so fast. Chris King, 100% agree. Frank's classes and courses are the best, says Chris King. Way to go. Alexis will thrive. This is a huge opportunity for her. She will do well. Just like Josh Hart, spoke with Josh Hart yesterday on ePart Trade, spoke with Josh Hart, and I said, bro, you're putting all the attention onto yourself. You're taking it all upon yourself. And he's like, I'm ready for it. We also spoke with Doug Coletta and Alan Johnson, by the way, if you're looking for a very interesting interview to go find. Let's see. Does Neff and the crew go with her? Ask Keith. That was my question, and I don't know the answer to that question. Now, I do recall John Force Racing in the past said, they don't make crew chief announcements. That's not their policy. I am curious, though. What is that? And that'll leak out. Something we've learned in this modern era of media. And I'm not saying it's because of WFO. It's certainly not. But the days of being able to sit on a story and announce it as you choose are gone. We learned that with the Proc deal. I'm sure they were, waiting to make their announcement and put it out there on their own schedule. And that's not happening anymore. If you've got a story like this Alexis thing, like were they really planning on launching it today or were they going to wait to PRI? I don't know. I think people realize now that whatever you got, it's going to leak. And there are so many drag racing media outlets that want to get that story out there, which it's awesome. It's like a real sport. Oh my goodness. It's like a real sport where people, and I can't do it because I work for NHRA as a contractor, right? And I have to maintain that etiquette. But if media outlets find out about your story, man, they're putting it out. So you better get it out. You can't sit on a story anymore. Will Monster stay with Josh? As I understand it, that Monster is a Brittany thing. Now, that's not official from John Force Racing. I haven't heard that. But that Monster goes with Brittany and is a non-transferable sponsorship, as I understand it. So we will see about that. Let me go back. So many comments coming in so fast. It's so great. It's so great. Let's see. Drove by BMP rigs and cars there. Okay. Great interview with Dallas. Dallas, Glenn, I like to think Dallas is a friend, that if I needed something at the racetrack, like, he'd help me. The guy is a good person. And I find the best in everybody. So maybe I'm a bad person to ask, right? But I try to find the best in everybody. I'm working so closely with these folks. But Dallas, Glenn, the kid is golden. He's a golden boy. That's not going to stick, though. It was so cool that Alexis is going to JFR. She will kill it there. I think she will do very well. Alexis DeJoria has got, I don't know how to say this. Like, she's set in her life financially, it would appear. It's got the tequila brands, it's got her projects, and the things that she loves is driving a funny car. But now, there's an added extra thing of living up to the expectations of John Force. There just is. Now, she drove for Connie Coletta. She was part of that team. It was a different Alexis, a younger Alexis. This is a different person we're talking about now. We made a big deal about that this year with Alexis. I'm really excited to see Alexis dig down and have to live up to this John Force expectation. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And I always think about the things that I say and I take it in the most insulting way. Like, there's someone out there thinking, oh, you're saying that she's not good. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying there is another layer now. Like when a player goes to the New York Yankees, and I know if you don't like the Yankees, you're going to reject this as well, but you go to this storied franchise, you want to live up to the expectation. You want to do well there. Wins that come at John Force Racing for Alexis are going to be different. Now, she did win the U.S. Nationals with Coletta, but just a different era. I'm excited to see it. I made it out to Pomona for the finals. I had a great time, even with the rain. Saw great racing on Thursday. Thank you, C5 Pete. You did not say hello. That's all right. Thank goodness for Thursday. We got it in. We got all our Lucas Oil Series champs in. What a day. It was so much fun to be down there at the top end, listening to Brian, listening to Warren, listening to everybody on Champions Watch, to enjoy the finals. To enjoy the finals in such a unique situation. Just camped out at the top end marketing area, waiting for champions to turn the corner. I'll remember that one forever. The normal ones you don't remember. These are the ones you remember. Where do we catch this? E-Part Trade, Industry Week. Search it. You'll find it. Let's see. Speaking of PRI, make sure to stop by our booth, 2135, the Gutierrez Brothers Racing. First time we've had a booth at the show. Says JP Gutierrez, I'm coming by. I will swing by there. Well, I want people to reach out to me and let's go to all these booths as a group. Let's roll in there. Let's roll into the Gutierrez booth with 10 people and wreck some shop. Looks like, what's up? Now, these guys always provide us some great snacks. We appreciate that. Norwalk, they are WFO listeners through and through. At the dinner table as a family, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Thank you. 2135, the booth number. Those guys building products. Excellent stuff. Happy for Alexis, wondering what's in store for Ida. We already read that one. Great interview. Joe says Nitro AJ. Thank you very much, AJ. Hussey will be at PRI. Get some swag gaskets for the Pontiac while you're at the show, Joe. I have already. They made keychains out of my gaskets, like Pontiac keychain gaskets, which I'm going to send out to our Patreons, the patreon.com/WFO radio page. Like when you join, I usually drop in some extra stuff, assuming I ever send it out, which everybody knows I don't. But if I did, then I would drop in some Hussey keychains of the Project Pontiac gasket, which is cool. Cliff Swanson, Alexis can drive for sure. It'll be great for her to be with a team that gives her a consistent car. I think she had a pretty good car this year for the way that car came together, but yeah. And, as far as the parts and pieces and equipment, I read the story. Who owns that stuff? Is she bringing her equipment to John Force? And they're going to add on? Are they going to start running John Force equipment? I don't know all the details to that just yet. Scanned it right before the show. Life's a Drag is a good match. Go check it out if you haven't watched. It's a good watch. It is a great watch. I'm watching the show last week. I came on there for the first few minutes just to wish the guys well. They're on the WFO radio network, a good reason to subscribe. Definitely best news show of 2025. No doubt. The best news show. I don't know what the other shows are. There's probably only one. But the inside information you get by watching Elin and Jason, just reading between the lines, knowing where they were, knowing what's going on, it's a must watch and the perfect compliment to WFO Radio. I really appreciate those guys. WFO Derail's been here. He just got caught up. Excellent. Let's see what else. JCM just built a nice shop right down the street from IRP. I want to know what's going to happen. Any quick thoughts on the moves going on at Red Bull? Yeah, Michael Heiner, we was on Ignition last night. For whatever reason, the Ignition podcast hasn't made it to the feeds just yet. I don't know why this is happening. I kind of think it has something to do with just having thousands and thousands and thousands of podcast episodes in our feed. I don't know. But Hadjar to Red Bull. Yuki is out. Yuki is signed on as a reserve driver, etc., and so on. Wild stuff. And Liam Lawson to Racing Bulls. We did a lot of Formula One talk. Formula One, final race, championship on the line, Max Verstappen. Will McLaren choke? We don't know. Alexis will step up to the next level. It's a perfect opportunity to step up to the next level. Alexis will rise to the reality of the JFR expectations. Exciting. Will JFR have 3 funny cars now and Josh Hart in the dragster? That it appears so. The four cars that people were saying wasn't going to happen. You've got Josh, you've got Jack Beckman, you've got Alexis, and you've got the fully sponsored Cornwell Tools World Champion back-to-back car sitting there. Who gets to drive that? Who is the blessed individual that gets to drive that car? That's the story. That's the story. Somebody is going to get plucked out of the crowd like Rocky Balboa and get an opportunity to sit in the world champion equipment. Now, it won't be tuned by the Proc family, but I'm sure there's a big book and there's some other knowledgeable people out there, and that thing is tuned and massaged and perfect and ready to go. It's won back-to-back world championships. Someone is going to get the blessing of being able to do that. Someone is also going to get the curse of having to follow Austin Proc. Yeah, last year, Austin was 40 on reaction time and you're 60. It's not going to be easy shoes to fill. It's not going to be just go out there and win. There's going to be all these comparisons. They're going to have to race against the Procs. Are the Procs viewed as villains by John Force fans? These are all great stories that I'm super excited about. But yeah, they're going to have 4 cars. Who's going to get that ride? I've heard some names. I had a great conversation with Galvin. Never got to see you. Nobody has ever said that. Get out of here. Galvin. Love Galvin. Haven't had Galvin on the show recently. Galvin is a very busy guy. The job at the NHRA. What he is learning is it gets busier during the winter break. It doesn't get easier. It gets busier. Will NHRA stream from the PRI show? Yes, they will. I have already thrown my hat into the mix to be on the stage. Not that I have tons of news or anything. Project Pontiac has announced they're going to be running 4 races in the 2026 season, beginning at Orlando Speed World and the Lucas Oil Divisional race. The first race of the 75th season of the NHRA, the Baby Gators, and both Rockingham races. How great did Rockingham look, guys? How great does Rockingham look? Oh my goodness, I want to be there. I'm going to tell the people that hire me that I need to see one pair of nitro from the 1,000-foot mark of that concrete grandstand. I got to sit down there. I got to be there for that. So excited about Rockingham. They've done such a great job. In the pits and in the lanes is awesome. Looking forward to more in 2026. You know, the in the pits, in the lanes features that we have done, I am so proud of them. I love the racers. The racers are always waving and coming up. I used to think that they would be annoyed with, you know, this guy coming up with a microphone, and I've earned their trust over the years, and it is great. One thing, though, that I wish is that more racers amplified it. You got to amplify it. Like, likes are not enough. You got to amplify it. Where else in the world do kids or people or citizens or civilians or however you want to relay them get to see so many drag race cars in one place? Definitely not on Street Outlaws. Definitely not on all those places. People will complain that NHRA needs to be covered better. We create these incredible features. It's not just me. It's the racers. You're talking to the racers, talk to 10 drivers in the Lucas Oil Series, and then 5 people will share it. 7 retweets. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. You see that feature, man. We need retweets, baby. Darcy Clark, the first ever shipped lightweight Plymouth. First ever. If that thing goes across the block at Meacham, it's getting like millions of dollars. They're making a whole show about it. And the fans of drag racing, they're like, no, share, guys, share. Yeah, I'm getting a little bossy. Let's see. Last week, Life's a Drag was a hoot. Everybody was on there. The whole world was there. Elon got game at the events from what I've seen on the show. Elon got game of the events. I don't know what that means. He definitely does. He went to see the Steelers this weekend. Many different winners in Funny Car in 2026 every year, you'd think. How are the Furs kids doing? I just posted on my personal Instagram. One of my cats got captured in an iguana, baby iguana. Hijinks ensues. Let's see. Jerry, he's a hunter apparently. Just become a Patreon. Yeah, you could. I would love for you guys to become a Patreon, but you don't have to. Just extra. You can watch Ignition, right? The people on Patreon have seen Ignition. It's great. Jim Head and Spencer would be awesome. What, over there at JFR? I don't think Jim Head wants to go to work for JFR. Guys, like, I think Jim Head could probably buy JFR, I think. If Spencer got the opportunity, he would be a worthy driver. I think he's proven to the world, just like Dallas Glenn, that this is a talented person. So let me get to that. Talent is supposed to matter. Marketing, sure. Bringing money, great. Social media, awesome. Talent is supposed to matter. Spencer Hyde has proven he's got talent, and the other stuff. He's proven he's got talent. Now he's got to find some money to keep that ride going, as we understand. Like, he should be hired. Our sport has got to get to a point where a guy like Dallas Glenn gets hired because of his talent. We need that kid. We need him. That's how it is in every other sport. We got to have him. We'll win more races. Look at Formula One. The best of the best are there on talent. Some people pay. Still happens. Love The Rock. We'll be watching. Yeah, I got to wrap it up, man. I got to go get ready for Tony Stewart, Leah Pruitt, and Richard Freeman. I'm going to ask him off the cuff questions. I'm going to ask all kinds of stuff, right? I put him in awkward positions. I want to be at Rockingham too. Yeah, Cliff, come on down. I have often wondered if they did the Josh Hart announcement earlier than planned because they knew what was coming and they did not want the story to be scuttled. Asks that you've often wondered. You spend a lot of time wondering about that thought. Derek, that's a thing that's occupying your, hey, Life's a Drag. Are you guys doing a show tomorrow? Thanks for the repost right at the end of the show, Life's a Drag. Appreciate you guys. Are you doing a show tomorrow? Please confirm. Derail. There's an art to the rollout of news. There's an art to it. And we've had a lot of news to roll out, and there's more to come. And so my opinion is that they had a plan and then they accelerated the plan. I think you got to accelerate it because once the pit area, I'll give you a perfect example. There was a race recently where I had a piece of information that was top secret. And at the start of the weekend, I was confident. I was one of the very few people that knew this piece of information. And I was like, let's see because I like to think I'm a steel trap when it comes to this kind of stuff. What is it? All I've got is my my word and my and I don't break them for nobody, right? I try to be as trustworthy as is possible, to the detriment of the show, but it is what it is. By mid-weekend, man, everybody was telling me this piece of news that I knew. Everyone was telling me, like, oh, man, did you know that's how fast it happens? It happens fast. Secrets cannot be kept for very long in the NHRA community. So if you've got a piece of news, you can't sit on it for very long. It's going to come out. Someone is going to happily ruin your big release. Yeah, and then we'll have some dancers, and it'll come out, it'll be a show, and they'll be having... No. Got to do it quick, in my opinion. So, yes, the Life's a Drag guys have confirmed they will be back. Ask about the roundabout Ida in St. Louis if you want awkward. I don't understand that. Ask all about the roundabout Ida. I don't know. And I don't want awkward. Chris King, money is the biggest challenge. Lots of talent in the small up-and-coming teams just can't compete with the budgets we're against. Well, no. And you won't be able to. Like, that's, you can't make that a negative. You can't. You will not. It's not going to happen. So now there's an obstacle in your way. How do we overcome the obstacle? That's it. It's very challenging. This is not easy. There it is. The big yes. No crew guy shortage, making it even harder for the little guys. No crew guys. No one has started a crew guy school. No one has started a crew chief tuning educational program. These are challenges. Got to come up with solutions. Could Tommy Johnson come back? Or maybe a Force daughter return to a funny car? I know. Could it happen? Is Courtney coming back? Courtney Force coming back? No, man. Come on. That would be fun to start that rumor, but no. And Tommy Johnson, listen, no one loves Tommy Johnson more than me. Tommy Johnson has been calling into my shows and been a friend way back to the XM days. I don't see that. Can't find a much more talented person, but I don't see that. Just kidding. Don't do that, Joe. No need to open up old wounds. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Please thank Richard for all that he is doing for professional drag racing. I will be sure to thank Richard Freeman. I'm going to tell Richard. I'm going to be like, thank you, Richard. I thank Richard Freeman for announcing all the stuff that he does on WFO radio. Each year, he's good for a big show. Last year, he announced that he would go Top Fuel racing. And it was a story that got picked up pretty much everywhere, with exception of a couple of places that didn't believe the story. But when I send out the video, like, hey, please post Competition Plus. Sometimes we'll post our shows. Thank you, Bobby. John DeBartolomeo used to post our videos all the time, but people didn't find it credible that Richard would go Top Fuel racing. Here, a year later, he makes the announcement on WFO radio. They're doing it. They're going Top Fuel racing. They got the cars. They got R&L carriers. And to make it even more unbelievable, Tony Stewart is their driver, right? Like, if I had told you that a year ago, nobody would have believed it. And yet, it's happening. NHRA Drag Racing, where fantasy becomes reality. That's a Michael K. Derek Jeter quote, but it's applicable. All right, guys, appreciate all of you. Swing over to ePart Trade 1 hour from now, actually 52 minutes. I'll be jumping on with Leah, with Tony Stewart, and Richard Freeman. And what was I going to ask him about? Was I going to ask Smoke about SRX and the NASCAR trying to kill SRX? Like, what's going on with that? I don't know if he's going to respond. Also, the Pro Superstar Shootout is not happening this year. I mentioned earlier in the show, I think we talked about it on Ignition or something. It's not happening this year. But Drag Illustrated in their Winter Series is happening pretty much right now. Snowbirds this week, right through the World Series of Pro Mod. Florida is the focus of the drag racing community, right through the conclusion of the Baby Gators after the Gator Nationals, which I will be racing at. Very excited. Thank you to Dallas Glenn. Thank you to everybody who participated in our post-Dallas conversation. And be sure to like and subscribe. WFO, guys. Don't forget, Life's a Drag tomorrow, noon.